We good?
Yeah.
All right, everybody, welcome to Live at 5:01 and some change.
Yep.
I'm Jack,
I'm Jake.
and we literally just unloaded a pallet truck. A big freight truck pulled up at 4:40, and we're like, oh no. And Jake and I like to mess around with everybody here at the shop, and so any given Thursday, if one of us were to walk up to the other and say, especially right before the show,
Yep.
and say, oh, there's a freight truck here, you'd think we're kidding. You'd think it'd be a joke. But nope. So serious. We were so serious. Freight truck pulled up. Probably what, 10 foot long?
Oh, absolutely. It has to be at least 10.
10 by 4?
Yeah.
10 by 5 maybe. Sheets of slat wall. Because we got big plans for hanging up all kinds of stuff around the store. But the number of people we got here today and everything going on, as many customers as we have in the store, as lessons happening,
Yep.
prepping for the live stream, I'll tell you, that was
A lot of running back and forth here to there to here to there.
we literally ran up here and we got the speakers turned down and literally ran up here and we're like, oh, it's 58.
Yep.
I was putting my microphone on with 30 seconds to go. We're here. We're live
At 5.
at 5:03.
Yep.
Let's roll with it.
All right.
Let's have a good time. This week is all Gibson. We've never done an all Gibson episode.
Ooh.
It's 90% Gibson.
Oh, okay.
2 Epiphones.
Yeah.
And as always, we'd like to thank our friends over at Stringjoy for taking part of our adventures here at Island Music Company. Bring your guitar in to get restrung. Bring your bass to get restrung. Get some Stringjoy strings. What a joyous occasion.
But
Insert laughter here.
Oh,
Aw, Jake.
what?
I'm going to get one of those Akai pads
Okay.
that has a line out.
Uh-huh.
And it's got like claps and applause, and I'm just gonna have it right here. And if I say something I think is funny, I'm gonna hit a button. And in moments like this where it's not landing, I'll hit the trombone. It's like, wah, 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 and it just-
There's some streaming stuff that we could also get that does the same thing for you.
That's true, but that doesn't support products that we have here in the store. So,
Yeah.
Akai, thank you for your service. So let's move on to the first guitar here.
There's a few other companies that we have.
Are they in store?
Yeah.
No. We'll talk about them later. Today we're talking about Gibson. Let's start here with the good old acoustic. I apologize. I know this is probably bright and shiny. Actually, Jake, can you pull up that screen so
Actually,
I can kind of...
that view is pretty all right now.
I'd like to hold
Oh,
this.
there it is.
All
Nope.
right. This is a J45 standard and a good old classic burst. What was it? Mahogany body and neck, Sitka spruce top. It has that slim taper profile neck. If you're looking for a way to get out, start gigging, you're a country artist and you like to fit that profile of what a country artist is supposed to be, because you let Nashville lie to you and tell you that you're not a country artist unless you play a Gibson. Who said that? Gibsons are great guitars. I'm not trying to take away how great a Gibson is. They're phenomenal guitars. There's a reason so many people play them. There's a reason the J45 is one of the most recorded acoustic guitars of all time.
Yeah.
Because they're such phenomenal guitar.
I-
I blame the freight truck. They're such phenomenal guitars. Also, 4 hours of sleep and an energy drink, but who knows, right?
I think actually Brian May, Kisquaz was a Gibson.
Brian may have played an acoustic. Yeah, that's right. Brian may have played a Gibson 45. Man. Woo! So yeah, the J45 standard, sunburst, Sitka spruce top, mahogany body and neck. We got with the Grovers, right? Yeah, good old Grover tuners. Phenomenal guitar. LR Baggs Electronics. What a beaut. What a beaut. I love a good acoustic. We know that. We're going to move on from there. We're going to go from the acoustics to Epiphone. But these Epiphones are not just any old Epiphone. These Epiphones are nice. all right, with capital Noise. All right, the looks Jake gives me sometimes, it's just kind of like, all right, what did you just say?
I'll be honest. Sometimes, yes.
Yeah. This guitar here is an Epiphone. However, this is not your father's Epiphone. It might be your grandfather's Epiphone, because depending on how old your grandfather is, he might have played an old school Epiphone before they were owned by Gibson.
My grandfather would have built one.
Did he work for Epiphone? Whew. Anyways, this guitar here, mahogany body, AAA flame maple top with a C-shaped neck. This uses USA Gibson custom Bucker pickups. It's the mahogany body with the maple cap, of course. Before, really, a lot of the Epiphones now have the Gibson style headstock, but these Epiphones, when they were being built, they came with that open book style headstock, is what that's referred to. So for those who aren't aware, this open book, if you were to lay a book flat on its spine, in the very middle of the book, open it up to front and back, down the middle, and this is an open book. It's all the pages piled up as if you had it laying down. So they call it the open book headstock. A lot of Epiphones have it nowadays because they're doing the whole Epiphone inspired by Gibson rather than Epiphone is just owned by Gibson, which is nice. There's a lot of great Epiphones out there right now. They're a lot nicer than they were even just 3-4 years ago. But this guitar here, I remember when we first started getting these in for special orders. We had one come through for a special order. I remember opening it up and immediately was blown away. The case is phenomenal. The flame on the top is a gorgeous flame. I forgot to grab the switch cap. The switch cap.
Yeah.
It sounded weird when I said it. I was like, wait, that's wrong. It's like, no, wait, that's right. Because it's in its case.
Yes.
Gibson and Epiphone, they leave those in the case if the guitar comes with a case. We put this one on the floor for display, and I guess we just didn't grab it when we set it up. But it's there. Trust me, it's in the case. This gorgeous vintage style deluxe case that it comes with. It's great, Jake. You open it up, and the brightness from the inside and the sheer and everything just blows. Oh, gorgeous. It might be my favorite. It's a great guitar, and the case might be my favorite part of the guitar. That tells you how nice that case is. Like, this here, I think they make it in like a darker burst finish as well. I don't know if it's actually sunburst or bourbon burst.
On it.
But this guitar in the dark burst is probably my favorite Epiphone. Says a lot, because Epiphone's pretty cool. The Epiphone Standard 60s in bourbon burst is phenomenal. Also, by now, if we can't tell, I think we all are caught on to the fact that I love a guitar in bourbon burst. So we'll also note that whenever we get around to making bingo, anytime I talk about bourbon burst. Check and mate. So moving on from the Epiphone, it's a 50. I didn't even talk about the model. I just talked about how great the guitar was. It's a 59 Les Paul Standard. Nice satin finish. It's a gorgeous guitar. It feels really nice. But it's the 59 Les Paul Standard. We're going to move from that over to another Epiphone here. This is the 61. I think it's a 61. I didn't write the year down. But this is, I believe, a 61. Oh, wait, do I have a sign for it here? 59. Yeah, 61 Les Paul SG. Jake, do you know why it's called a Les Paul SG?
No, I do not.
So, the Les Paul, this was the original shape of the Les Paul, like the SG style guitars. Remember that there's the SG with the 3 humbuckers in it?
Yeah.
That was a Les Paul. That was before the chambered bodies, the hollow, the solid bodies. That was before what we know today as a single cut Les Paul was the SG shape style guitars that were Les Paul guitars. These guitars here, Jake.
Yes.
Do you know what SG stands for?
No.
Solid guitar.
Okay.
I know, right? It's a very educational episode of Live at 5. So, the has a slim taper C-shaped neck. It is the open book headstock, just like the other guitar we talked about. This has the burst buckers, my favorite Gibson pickups. Vintage style tuners, of course, with the tulip tuner buttons. What's cool about this guitar, especially since it's a reissue, an homage, a callback to a 61 SG. 1961 was the first year of the SG. They went from that Les Paul shape to the SG, the solid guitar. So this is a reissue, a historical recreation of the 61 SG, the first year of the SG. We also, from, I think in the Gibson line, I'm pretty sure we have a 61 SG Standard, which is one of my favorite guitars of all time. The fact that I don't own one, as I'm talking about it right now, is kind of baffling. Because that's one of my favorite guitars to show people that we sell. It's a killer guitar. I don't know how I don't have one. That's a goal for 2025, let me tell you what, because I got 2 guitars in layaway right now.
I'm not surprised.
And one on the way. I ordered one of the Jack White triple sonic Acoustasonic guitars. That's because it's Jack White, and why not?
It has the most interesting vinyl.
It's the what?
He has the most interesting vinyl.
He does make some great vinyl. Not just the music, but the records themselves.
Yeah.
The features. That's a whole nother topic. See? You're responsible for pulling me down these rabbit holes. Sometimes
Every now and
I
then.
started myself, but you pull me into them.
I mean, yeah.
He's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me cross off the ones I've talked about so I don't want to go ahead and grab them again. This is a crowd pleaser, a fan favorite, a Gibson Original. This is the ES335. Also in the Sunburst, very similar to the J45. This has a combination of maple, poplar, and maple for the body. Let me get this out of that light there. A rounded C-shaped neck. This has T-type pickups. When you see T-type pickups from Gibson, it's a vintage style pickup. They're hand wound, but the winding is a little loose because it's going to give you that clear vintage tone. And see, this is, since I'm holding like an actual Gibson compared to an Epiphone, you can see it's the open book tune, the open book headstock that they're talking about. Also Gibson Deluxe vintage style tuners with the tulip buttons. Gorgeous work on the burst there. It really shows off the top, but it bursts and fades really well into the dark edges. Gorgeous. 335 is a classic. Anytime I pick up a 335, I feel like duck walking across the stage.
Okay.
No?
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
You understand the reference?
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm not explaining it. Look it up. Except I need a red one. Then I'll do it. If we ever get a red 335, I will duck walk with the guitar. Is that what it was called? Duck walking? I don't know. I feel like it was called duck walking.
I'm putting one on order right now for you.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Back to SGs. This is another really cool one here. This is the SG Special high gloss finish. Very similar to everything else. It is the lost my spot here. P90s for the pickups. So if you're looking at in the single coil P90s, it is also a slim taper 12-inch radius neck. Vintage style tuners, but you see the smaller buttons there. One thing I love about an SG is you would think because of the shape of the body, how narrow it is, how small it is, how thin it is, you'd think the guitar needs a bigger body for sustain, but there's just something about the weight that goes into the neck and the headstock down through the center of the body, being a set neck, that really helps bring home the sustain, the tone, everything that everyone loves from an SG. And the P90s are a phenomenal addition to the Gibson sound. Got 2 more here for you. We're going to go right here. This is the Gibson Les Paul Standard 60s in Ocean Blue. This guitar is a slim taper, 12-inch radius neck. Ooh, that actually does feel really good. The 60s burst buckers, again, my favorite Gibson pickups. And a AA flame maple top. These guitars here, of course, mahogany body, maple cat, mahogany neck. Pretty standard for Gibson. The standard 60s, I mentioned this a few weeks ago when I had a handful of Gibsons up here, tend to still be, in my opinion, the top seller from Gibson. The standard 60s Les Pauls. And I think it has a lot to do with the combination of the body is not real heavy. A lot of people think Les Pauls, they think unbearably heavy guitars. But the combination of a body that's not super heavy, the burst bucker pickups, that slim taper neck, this is a rock machine of a guitar. It handles so many things. The versatility that you get from switching back and forth between the bridge and the neck position, the intonation, the setup on the neck, the tuners. Throw a set of locking tuners on here, and you're ready to just dig into it and go. Phenomenal guitar. The blue looks really nice. I can't remember the last time I saw a blue Les Paul that wasn't like super dark in finish or a solid color.
I can't either.
We've had some blues come through where it's like they did that blueberry burst.
Yeah.
But that was darker.
Yeah.
That modern Les Paul, I think it's got like the black burst on it, but it's a solid dark blue in the middle.
Yeah.
But it's been a while since I've seen something come through like this. Ocean blue. And I like it because the way it's onto the body, there's like these little slivers of the natural wood because it's kind of transparent. And it adds like this nice little beach kind of touch to it. I don't know if it's intentional because I've seen some photos of other ocean blue guitars where the gradient and the grade of the figuring in the maple is so intense that you can't see any natural color of the body mixed into the wings and the bouts. But on this one here, it's just thin enough that you can see the natural maple that goes onto that cap.
Yeah.
And it really feels like you're a little at the beach, just watching the water ripple back and forth. So it's really cool. I like it. Moving on from that, though, another recreation of history of music. So earlier we talked about the 61 SG and how that is the first iteration of the solid guitar from Gibson. This here is not the custom shop version. It's not the Epiphone version. This is the middle of the, you call it the middle of the road, but it's still a really nice guitar.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Gibson Les Paul Greenie. We've had this on the show once before because we had a used one come through, but this one's brand new. And you might be thinking, Jack, it's not green. It's a good point. Why do they call it the Greenie if it's not green, Jake?
Probably something to do with the electronics.
No. Well, technically, but not why. The electronics also have to do with why the guitar is named this way.
Yes.
This guitar was owned, well, not this one. That'd be crazy. That means I would have robbed somebody. This guitar here is a recreation, a reissue of the exact Les Paul that was owned by Peter Green of Fleetwood Mac.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Green then sold that Les Paul to Gary Moore, who played it in Thin Lizzy for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
There's also some solo stuff, but let's be honest. Gary Moore, no disrespect. We know you from Thin Lizzy. I'm sorry. It's not like you're ever going to hear me and listen to this anyway. So, but now this guitar, oddly enough, it goes from, this guitar goes from Fleetwood Mac to Thin Lizzy
Do we need the flowchart?
to Metallica. I like the flow chart. This guitar is now owned by Kirk Hammett, and it's just such a weird like array of like who owns this guitar and where it goes. But the very cool thing about this guitar that sets it apart from others is that this famous Les Paul that's been somehow only exchanged the hands with famous guitar players has a reversed pickup, meaning in the neck, the polarity on the neck pickup is reversed. The bridge pickup is called a Greenie Bucker, so it's tuned and wound to the specifications of the humbucker that's in that original Greenie. It has, I think it was Mallory capacitors and all kinds of different stuff. It's very special when it comes to the electronics on this guitar. It's a AAA top, mahogany body. Phenomenal guitar. This is, the top on this is really nice actually. There's some really good figuring in here. What's nice too is you can see like the different ripples of the maple along the side, as well as the curly or the flame, however you want to describe that, going through the center. Gorgeous guitar. The neck feels great. Wow, it's really cool. They make an Epiphone version too. So if you know, you're looking for something more budget friendly, more you'd be willing to take out to a gig and accidentally get dinged up or something like that, the Epiphone version I think still comes out around $15. But I know some of us are way more comfortable taking a $1,500 guitar out to gigs than a roughly around $3. I think the box sweat's right here, right? Ooh, it is $3,000. Look at that. You know these things after a while. Sometimes I get a little full of myself and I'll brag. I'll hold a guitar and be like, oh, it's probably worth about this much. One time we had a guitar come through. I'm not saying brands, I'm not saying names. And someone who used to work here puts the guitar in my hand. I'm sitting there. I start playing it. I'm fumbling through some stuff. I was like, you know what? This is really good. This is probably like a really nice $1,500 takeout and gig, like workhorse kind of guitar. And he just starts scratching his head. I was like, what? And he goes, that guitar's $4,500. I was like, there's no way.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, I remember this. I remember this. Yep.
And I was like, there's no way.
Yep.
Like,
Yep, I remember this.
I was baffled. I was like, what? I'll tell you the story sometime if you come in and talk to me, but I'm not going to say it.
I forgot all
like
about that.
Oh, that's everything. I covered them all. Sweet. Look at that. I want to, let's see. I need to check my calendar here real quick because I don't want to get the wrong date, but last week I started talking about our holiday string giveaway. It is going to be Saturday, November 16th. We've got a few different companies involved this year rather than just one, because we've been doing this event for so long, and it's gotten so big that we've got so many string companies that are like, let's be a part of it. We want to help out. We want to do this. And it's nice because that shows, one, how the music industry is very like, let's work for a common goal. You know, most of the music industry. Two, because it involves us giving to our community, more companies and brands are wanting to be involved than previous years because they're seeing how much we're able to give back by doing such an event. But the biggest thing about said event is that the holiday string giveaway is only as successful as it is because of y'all. Y'all show up every year and outdo yourselves every year. For those of you listening for the first time or hearing about this for the first time, you bring in a non-perishable food item. Pretend there's a can of soup in my hand. And
Hold on, let me put that on screen for you. Perfect.
And then you give us that soup, preferably still closed, never opened.
Yep.
The soup is actually in the can. I think, because it's going to get donated for people who don't have food around the holidays. But you're not just bringing us food. You bring us as much food as you can because there's grand prizes. And if you donate the most weight of non-perishable food items, you win prizes. Well, first, second, third kind of deal. But here's the catch.
All right, ready.
You get your guitar restrung for free. Well, what? We would do that? Yeah, we would.
Oh, yeah.
So bring in your non-perishable food items on November 16th for our holiday string giveaway, and we will restring your guitar for free. Now, because of the number of people we have working the event and the number of people that show up for the event, it is one guitar per person. And we only do that because if we let everyone bring in every guitar, some of y'all I see twice, 3 times a month buying guitars. Thank you. But for a community donation event, it's hard to restring 15 guitars for one person when you got 30 people out the door trying to get their 15. It would never get done. So one guitar per person. But play your cards right. We don't know what the prizes are yet, by the way. This is just me speaking for fun. Play your cards right. You bring in a guitar to get restrung, drop off some food. You might be leaving with a free guitar if you drop off enough food.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. Let me see here. 5:25. All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. I'm going to probably take out trash and do some cleaning and
I also got closing
get
stuff.
us on out of here. We do the show right before closing, by the way. So if you ever see us be like, oh, we got to go, it's because I can look out to the showroom floor while we're doing this, and I can see things that might need done. So sometimes I'll do this. I got to get all these guitars put away, but then I'll jump out and do everything. So, yeah, Gibson's. ES335, 59 Epiphone Les Paul standard with the custom Bucker USA pickups and the really, really nice hard case. The SG Special with the P90s, the standard 60s Les Paul with the slim taper profile neck, the 60 style burst Buckers, and the ocean blue cap. This was the 61 Epiphone Les Paul SG, the first year of the SG, or the solid guitar. Remember what we learned today, folks. And then this is the Gibson Les Paul Greenie with the reverse polarity neck pickup that is also reverse mounted, the Greenie Bucker humbucker pickup, and then everyone's favorite country western acoustic, the old J45 Standard. My name's Jack.
My name is Jake.
Thanks for tuning in to Live at 5. We'll see you next week.
See you.